This is HealthCall Online, the place for extended versions of interviews featured in our weekly radio broadcast, the HealthCall Radio Hour, now heard on more stations around the country as they join the HealthCall Radio Network. Well, our topic today actually comes from listener questions. Many people have asked about those fruit and vegetable supplements, the powders and other products you see advertised all over the internet and on cable TV. Are they worthwhile? Are they safe? Are they effective? Are they worth your money? Well, a group called Consumer Lab recently looked into all of this, so I invited its founder and president, Dr. Tod Cooperman, to join us and get us to the bottom line. Doctor, thanks for joining us. Let's just jump right there.
Okay.
What's the big takeaway from a review of these products?
Yeah, so Lee, we looked at fruit and veggie supplements, which often make claims that they are a replacement for fruits and vegetables, and the bottom line is they are not. They're an expensive way to get a lot less than you would typically get from your vegetables and fruits.
We're going to dive into your review in greater detail and take a look at a couple of the most popular products in just a moment. But let's back up a second. And for folks who don't know, tell us about Consumer Lab. I've been a subscriber for years. I find the information just so valuable and helpful. Tell us where the idea came from and how you're different.
Sure. Well, first, thanks for having me on, Lee. I appreciate it, and thanks for your support of Consumer Lab. So we've been doing this for 24 years now, and I started it. I'm an MD. I started it because there was a lack of information about what was really in dietary supplements. We've since expanded into all kinds of health foods, etc. But we are the leading group that's out there buying products off the shelf or off the internet the way a consumer would, testing them to see what's really in them, and reporting on the quality. And so we've been putting out reports, as I said, for 24 years. We've covered nearly every type of supplement, whether it's a multivitamin or a fish oil or a CoQ10, as well as all kinds of foods like flaxseed and psyllium, and even water filter pitchers. So we have a research group that's testing these products. We also use a lot of expert outside labs because we do so many different types of analyses. And we report that to subscribers. So it is a paid subscription to Consumer Lab. It's about $60 a year, and people get reports on nearly every type of popular supplement out there. And we've tested nearly, I think now over 6,000, maybe closer to 7,000 products.
You do have a free newsletter. What for folks who may want to subscribe to that, what am I going to receive there?
So the free newsletter goes out 3 times a week, actually, because we're not just reporting on what we're finding, we're also reporting on what others are finding out there in the world. And digging into those reports, including clinical studies around the supplements that we evaluate. So if there's new information about vitamin D or B12 or whatever we've evaluated, we have a group of expert editors, PhDs, myself an MD, looking at these studies, dissecting them, and reporting on that. So the newsletter includes that kind of information plus the latest product updates. Although you do need to be a member to get the full reports, the newsletter is really just an alert that we have this information, although we also put out any recalls and warnings, and that information is free to consumers, and that's in the newsletter as well.
So I hope you will all stay tuned, because at the end of our segment, I'm going to be asking Dr. Cooperman what's made the cut, what's in his medicine cabinet after all that research. So I think you'd be interested to hear that one. Let's jump back into these fruit and vegetable supplements or substitutes. They're advertised as a safety valve to make sure that I'm getting all that I need. Do they fulfill that commitment?
And they're not just advertised as a safety valve, but as a replacement, which is really a problem, because what it boils down to is you need about 500 grams, which is about, say, a pound of fruits and vegetables per day. If you were to dry all that down, 10% of it would be a powder, okay? So you'd have about 50 grams of dried fruits and vegetables. These products claim to have basically dried fruits and vegetables, but the capsules from some of these products, are about 1-2 grams per day, nowhere near the 50 grams, that you would need. So you're really only getting at best, 7 to 10%, of what you would expect from eating all those fruits and vegetables. The other thing is what fruits and vegetables have that these don't have is fiber. And fiber is so critical to your digestive system, to feeding the good bacteria, in your gut. People take probiotics, and we've tested hundreds of probiotics. You're much better off, frankly, eating food that feeds good bacteria in your stomach than taking a probiotic. They only last about a week or so in your gut. It's not as if you're repopulating, anything really with a probiotic. There are some specific benefits, but you're not going to get that benefit when you're taking a pill that has no fiber in it. And even some of the products where you take larger amounts, a whole scoops of a powder, you are going to get more, but you're still really not going to get a lot of the things that you would have gotten from those fruits and vegetables.
So I heard you say there is some nutrient benefit, but not enough that you can feel like you're going to get away without eating fruits and veggies, right?
Yeah, in fact, if you look at the supplement facts, which is the key part of the label on a dietary supplement, or the nutrition facts is what it's called on a food, some of these products don't even make a claim, to how much protein or fiber they contain, because they really contain virtually none. They may contain high amounts of vitamin C, but that's really not worth spending, dollars a day for. You can get it, we've tested vitamin C supplements. We have a whole review on them. You can get that for pennies per day. And certainly you can get it from, eating real fruits. They also don't contain a lot of the minerals that you need: calcium, magnesium. Again, even some of these powders won't give you enough of that. So there's a real problem with that. You're not really going to get that hurt. We did find lead in one of these products, about a little over 2 micrograms per day. You can tolerate that. A kid should really not be exposed to that per day. I wouldn't be giving these to a kid. An adult can tolerate that, but and you will get some lead in fruits and vegetables as well. Mm-hmm. So just be aware that they're not completely pure products that you're getting.
So some lead there. What about pesticides?
We didn't evaluate these for pesticides. We focused really more on heavy metals and bacterial contamination, which we did not find, fortunately. If you want to stay away from pesticides, the best thing is really to buy an organic, product where, since pesticides are not used. There's such a slew of different potential pesticides. It's not something that we're focused on, but you can avoid them if you go with organic. The thing people should know about organic products, however, is it doesn't mean they're going to be low in lead, or other heavy metals like arsenic and cadmium. We've actually found no correlation. In fact, I believe we've actually found higher levels of lead and things like that in organic products. And so the organic really just has to do with how these products are being treated, during the processing. But if there's lead in the ground, it can be in there. There are certain, we've tested, say, cocoa powders and dark chocolates, and we find high levels of cadmium in those. That's simply because that plant, the cocoa plant, pulls out cadmium from the soil. It doesn't matter if you're growing it organically or not. So just be aware, just because it's organic doesn't mean it's free of lead.
From a cost standpoint, how do these products stack up?
Terribly. So you're spending, as I said, $2-3 a day to get, to get less than you would get in terms of, fiber, some vitamins, minerals, less than you might get from eating, part of an apple. So if you're able to buy an apple for, less than $2 or $3, you're better off eating the apple.
You come out ahead, yeah. That's interesting. Do they serve any function at all? Is there any reason to consider these products in your estimation?
Not really. No. I mean, if you have the time, to eat fruits and vegetables, eat fruits and vegetables. If you have absolutely no time to cut up, some fruits and vegetables, then they'll offer, as I said, maybe 10%, of what you might be getting from eating a daily serving of fruits and vegetables.
Okay. Well, let's jump into some of these products for a little closer look individually. So there are powders and mixes, and then there are gummies and capsules. So
Right.
Let's start. The the ones that I see advertised a lot on cable TV these days are from a company that produces them under the name of Balance of Nature. Did you take
Yes,
a look at these and tell me what you found?
we did. And I think we looked at, it may have, I think there's a fruits version and a veggies version. We looked at both. They were not contaminated, which is good news. But the bottom line is they really don't give you much. And they don't even promise to give you much, and they are expensive. So, in fact, there was I believe, a lawsuit against them. I forget the status of that, where they've been brought, called to the mat on the claims that they're making about it being a replacement, for eating fruits and vegetables, and I think they've settled that perhaps and calmed down some of that marketing.
Yeah,
So
that was
just
in the
don't.
state of California, and it was a settlement in the millions of dollars, as I recall.
Okay. Yeah, so don't believe the hype. Go with your instinct. You can't get you can't get a pound's worth of fruits and vegetables from 1 or 2 grams in a capsule.
And the gummies themselves, what do they bring to the table in addition to any nutrients?
Nothing. Sugar. Typically we test a lot of gummy products, whether it's a gummy multivitamin, or fruits and vegetable gummy. Historically, I've really been very negative on gummies for several reasons. Things have gotten a little bit better, but originally, when they were making, say, gummy multivitamins, they were buying candy gummies initially. This is maybe going back 15 years, and spraying on the vitamins and minerals.
Wow.
So you're getting basically the candy. You are getting very inexact amounts of the vitamins and minerals that are being put on there, and because it's a gelatinous kind of matrix, environment, things interact, and they're not as stable in a gummy formulation. So even companies that thought they were putting in the right amounts, those amounts were declining over time. And what's happened is manufacturers are allowed to put in more than what is stated on the label. So if it says 100% of the daily value of something, or X amount of milligrams, they are allowed to put in a bit more so that it maintains its level throughout its shelf life, which is typically about 2 up to maybe 3 years. The USP, which sets the kind of standards for how products should be tested and things like that, has actually allowed companies. This has just happened last year, and we picked up on it. It wasn't like big news. They're allowing companies that make gummies to put in much more, like 2.5 times as much vitamin C, and some other, like another B vitamin, into gummies when they make it, which is problematic because if you're getting that, you're buying that gummy new, fresh, you're getting a heck of a lot more than you think you're getting, and I don't think that's a good thing from a consumer's perspective, and that's what we're here for at Consumer Lab. We are the consumer's kind of eye, and ears and lab, into these products.
So the balance of nature didn't matter whether it was the fruit or the vegetable. Either
No,
one you found to be not a good value and not an efficient way to deliver those nutrients.
exactly.
Are there any antioxidant benefits, anything like that inside these products?
Yeah, you mean vitamin C is an antioxidant, so you'll get some vitamin C. But again, it's there are plenty of other ways of getting vitamin C that are a lot less expensive, and maybe more tasty. If you're actually eating a piece of fruit. So they do have some potential benefit, some benefit there. So as I'm saying, they're not going to hurt you. I mean, there is some lead in some of these products. It's probably not enough that's going to hurt an adult. But it's really kind of a waste of money, bottom line.
Okay. Many of these products are available as a powder, and they can be powdered grasses or a mixture, or actually powdered algae. And I suspect one of the most widely known is Athletic Greens, now marketed as AG1. What did your testing find with AG1?
Yeah, so with AG1, we did find lead. Actually, it had more lead than other products because it's a large amount that you're taking. It's not just a capsule. And so we found, I forget the exact amount, it was 2 point something micrograms of lead per serving, which, as I said, you don't want to give that to a kid. In the state of California, for example, they have very strict limits on how much lead and other things can be in products without having a warning label. So once you go over half a microgram per day per serving of any kind of food or supplement, you need a warning label. So this had over 2 micrograms, so you would need a warning label, say, in California for that kind of product.
That's interesting. And let's talk about the cost of, for example, AG1. What is the nutrient per penny, I guess? Is there a formula there that we can take a look at?
So with AG1, you're getting about 12 grams of powder per scoop. That's going to cost you about $3, so something in that range. You're getting, and I'm just quoting from what's on the label here, what they're promising is a serving is going to give you 6 grams of carbs, not a lot, 2 grams of fiber. You need about 25 grams of fiber per day. So, if you're relying on AG1 to give you your fiber, you're really not getting it. Has no fats. You need some good fats, actually, in your diet as well. It has virtually no minerals. Has plenty of vitamin C. So there's so many deficiencies there that you just don't assume you're getting what you need from that product.
So not going to harm you, but
it's unless you're you're a small child, it's not going to harm you. But again, it does have we did find over 2 micrograms of lead. So again, not going to harm you, but might harm a younger person.
Got it. Do these products fit any need that you see for consumers?
It fits the need for a magic bullet, like many supplements do. It's convenient, but it doesn't really give you what you're hoping to get, which is a replacement for fruits and vegetables.
Well, that's a good transition into what are the products that you've brought into your life after having reviewed so many over 24 years. Take us on a tour through your medicine cabinet. Is there anything there?
It's a pretty bare medicine cabinet, Lee. And that's really, as you said, it's a result of what, we've learned, over the last 24 years plus in medical school. The best way for most people, to be getting all these nutrients is from food, whole foods, not processed foods. And that's how I get my nutrients. And I have a very full breakfast of full, whole grains. Really, what's more important for me is what's in my kitchen cabinet than in my medicine cabinet. And even though I spend my days testing supplements, I rarely use the majority of them. And we're very frank about what these things do and don't do based on the clinical evidence. And that's part of our, what we bring to consumers as well. The things that I do take occasionally, I'll take some vitamin D in the winter, early spring, just to kind of keep those levels up since I'm not outside in the sun like I am most of the year. And there, you only need 600 to 800 IU per day. It's actually now shown in terms of micrograms, but most people still know it as, IUs.
Right.
A lot of people take a lot more than that, 2,000, 5,000. They sell supplements with 10,000, IU of vitamin D. You don't want to get too much vitamin D. There is a downside to too much vitamin D. Actually, 4,000 is kind of the official upper intake, tolerable intake level for vitamin D. So I take a little bit of vitamin D in the part of the year. Otherwise, I'm really getting everything I need. I might take a little melatonin. And again, there you only need like 1 milligram to 3 milligrams, or even a little less than 1 milligram for kids of melatonin. It's not to be taken for more than 2 weeks. I only use it, on certain nights where I just need something that will trigger sleep, because it does trigger sleep if you take it about 30 to 45 minutes before you want to go to sleep. It won't necessarily keep you asleep, but melatonin is a worthwhile supplement in my opinion. some people need vitamin B12 because they can't absorb it as well. That's worthwhile. These things you can all get for pennies. And that's another thing that we do at Consumer Lab is look at the cost and show you, well, if these things are equal in terms of what they're giving you, may as well buy the one that's also high quality but lower cost. And so, we're buying all the different types of brands out there, whether they're from, the Walmart store brand, or the high end, type that you can get only in a doctor's office. We're testing them all. And I would say that the ones that you get, from the professional brands, the quality tends to be good. The prices tend to be 2 to 3 times, what you would pay. Same thing for a lot of the direct marketing products, that are sold out there. What they call kind of multi-level marketing, direct marketing. Quality does tend to be pretty good, but the price doesn't really, in my opinion, it's not worth the premium that you pay. Other things that are in the family kind of medicine cabinet, iron. If someone's low in iron, it's typically more for women, younger women. If someone's not getting enough calcium in their diet, and you don't want to take too much calcium either at one time. If you can only absorb up to 500 milligrams of calcium at a time. Other than that, you're kind of flooding your body with calcium, and as you know, calcium is part of what makes up plaque. So there's a downside, is a higher risk of stroke and things like that when people take too much calcium per day from a supplement. That problem doesn't exist when you take it from a fruit. I could go on and on and on, Leaks, but those are the basic things that you'll find, in the medicine cabinet here.
I love the way you put that. What's in the kitchen cabinet is more important than what's in the medicine cabinet. I think that's great advice. Listen, we'll leave it there. I would love to have you back again. Maybe we could talk about some longevity products down the road. I think that's a huge area where there's a lot of confusion. So I'd love to touch your knowledge base on that and see what we can come up with if we could do that down the road.
Yeah, Lee, I'd be happy to. It's a pleasure talking with you.
Thanks. That's Dr. Tod Cooperman. He is the president and founder of Consumer Lab.